Yeah, I don't believe in destiny. I just do what's best for me. Don't listen to my enemies, they're just full of jealousy. Yeah.
Let's get into the video. So, I took a bunch of science classes in high school. I thought that I really loved science and it was something I wanted to do with the rest of my life. And the truth of the matter is, I was not made for science, okay? I don't know if it was the work ethic or the fact that I just don't like school, but me and science didn't get along after, you know, my sophomore year. But at that point in my school, we picked, like, these educational paths, so there was really nothing I could do. I was stuck taking science classes till the end of time, aka until I graduated, just because that's what I signed up for when I was a freshman, which is a really stupid way to run a school. But regardless, I had all these science classes, and for the most part, I had the same group of kids throughout all of these science classes. We didn't really change much, and there was this one weird kid who I'm gonna name Jonathan. And Jonathan, you know, was a bit of a weird kid. He was the type of kid that nobody really wanted to eat lunch with or hang out with, mainly because he smelt really bad and was a brony. You know, those were the two things that he did that most people just didn't really mess with. And regardless, I had all these science classes with him, and I'm not gonna lie, he was a pretty weird kid, but I never had any real beef with him, you know? So whatever, in our junior year of high school, which is when you're like 16, 17 years old enough to have common sense, our science teacher assigned a project that we needed to do a science project about dieting on the human body, you know? And there was definitely no implication that we had to experiment on ourselves. There was no implication that, you know, we had to eat anything disgusting or do anything stupid. But for some reason, Jonathan, in his head, was like, I must do the most disgusting thing known to man. And what ended up happening is our teacher made a joke of like, oh, you can eat dog food for a week, ha 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 ha. But, you know, was very clearly kidding, and everyone knew he was kidding except for Jonathan. I don't know why in Jonathan's head he went, what would happen if the human body digested dog food for a week? But that's exactly what he did. So, whatever, everybody goes and does their science project, and we have about 2 weeks to complete it. So the 2 weeks go by, everybody's science projects are pretty, like, standard, you know, what happens, how do calories work on the human body? Can you actually make a viable meal out of mince? Is gum good for caloric intake? Like, pretty boring run-of-the-mill stuff that you would expect from high school, you know? And the first day of presentations, everyone's falling asleep, everybody's bored, and our teacher announces that Jonathan is going to have the first presentation tomorrow, right? So everybody's like, oh, okay. Jonathan, as weird as he was and as bad as he smelt, was a pretty smart kid, so everybody expected this kid to really throw down with the craziest experiment of all time, you know? So the next day rolls around, and Jonathan gets up with the confidence that can only be explained as a horse that just won a race, right? Like, he gets up, he's walking in front of the classroom, he plays a pump-up song, it's Macklemore. He's like, yo, what up? I got a big papa, and, you know, slams his project on the table. So he opens his PowerPoint, and the opening slide is, can a human survive on dog food? And all of us are laughing because we think he's joking, you know, like, haha, you know, oh, Jonathan, you little prankster, you know, we know you're a nerd, but no nerd would willingly eat dog food for a week, right? Because what type of crazy person would willingly ingest dog food for a week at a time? And then the next slide is the layout of the experiment, right? I forgot the word, okay, it's been a long time. How the experiment was going to work. And basically, Jonathan's experiment went as follows. I will eat nothing but Iams green dog food for a week in order to test if its caloric intake works on humans. And all of us are kind of like, this is a weird science experiment, okay? Like, don't get me wrong, we expected to see some weird stuff, maybe something about Rice Krispie treats, maybe something about bottle rockets. Nobody, and I mean nobody, expected this kid to really come out the cut and be like, I ate nothing but dog food for a week. That's exactly what Jonathan did. So as the slides keep progressing, it gets increasingly weird. Basically, he talks about how he would dip his dog food in water to make it softer and more digestible because it's really hard to chew at first. It's like a tough cracker. And all of us are like, oh my god, he actually ate dog food for a week. And I know what you're thinking. Scrubby, how is there more left to this story, you know? Like, the weird kid ate dog food. But trust me, it somehow gets weirder. So obviously, our teacher and everybody is concerned at the fact that this kid just ate dog food for a week. Like, at no point your parents went, hey, honey, what do you want for dinner? And were shocked when you said, Iams dog food. Like, I'm sorry. If my kid ever came home and said, Dad, I'm sorry, I can't eat this week. Gotta eat dog food for a science project. I'd be like, hey, kid, that's not science. Please knock it off. So whatever. He's telling us how he likes his dog food and how it tasted and what it was like to try to eat it. And all of us are like, oh, okay, this is bizarre. Even our teachers is like, well, I mean, it's the weirdest science project I've ever seen, but at least your information is correct. And then it takes a turn for the weirdest science project presentation I've ever seen personally, okay? And I've seen quite a few. So the next slide pops up, and it's a blurry photo because Jonathan had an Android, you know? He was that type of kid. So the photo quality isn't impressive, but we begin to make out, after a little bit of effort, that this is a toilet bowl. And sitting there in the toilet bowl is nothing other than Jonathan's crap. You see, it wasn't enough to just tell us us how it tasted. No, no, no. We were studying the caloric impact of dog food on the body. And of course, how it produces waste was so important to Jonathan that he felt the need to take a picture with his crappy quality Android phone and show the entire class every bowel movement he had for a week. That's right. And I don't know how Jonathan was so regular on dog food, but the man was pooping twice a day because there were 14 pictures of this kid's crap filled with dog food and whatever else he had eaten on the screen. And he broke down and pointed at a laser pointer with each individual thing that changed with each poop and just spent way too much time explaining to me about bowel movements. And I don't know about you, but if you've ever had to look at a weird kid's poop, it's not the most fun thing in the world, okay? The entire class is shocked, even the teacher is shocked. But we're so in shock that nobody stops the kid, you know? Like, you know when something's such a bad train wreck that none of you are stopping it? That's basically what happens when the weird kid starts breaking down his weekly poop schedule for everybody. But it gets weirder. He also tracked the time and was calculating that it was about 14 hours between each meal where he would poop out last meal. And he like charted it, made a bar graph, there was a pie chart at one point. This man put in so much effort to track his poop while he was eating dog food, it was ridiculous. And like I said, the entire class is flabbergasted because what do you do? How are you supposed to react to this? You're telling me that in a classroom, you're gonna be like, this is quite the interesting science experiment. No, all of us are shocked, disgusted. I never wanted to know this kid that well, okay? You don't really know someone until you've had to look them in the eyes after you've seen their poop. It's not a good experience. None of us were really like besties with this kid in the first place, but now I know him way better than I've ever wanted to know him ever, okay? Like, never in my life was I sitting there going, I wonder what Jonathan's poop looks like, and especially after he's eating dog food. Like, that was never something I wanted to see. But I saw it, you know, I did. It was very unpleasant. I can promise you all that. You guys would not want to see it. If I had pictures, I wouldn't put them on screen because I don't want my subscribers to suffer. So finally, after an agonizing 15 minutes of this kid explaining his experience eating dog food and breaking down in detail every single bowel movement he had while on his experiment, he comes to the conclusion that humans can in fact survive on dog food, even though it's not the best nutrition possible, and your poop will be slightly inconsistent and a little bit wet. You could do it. In theory, if you were stuck on a deserted island and you had to eat dog food to survive, it was possible. And the class does the most awkward, quiet applause of all time. Like, the most awkward applause. It starts with, like, one person going like, oh, wow, that was something. And everybody's kind of flabbergasted, and the teacher's like, well, thank you, Jonathan. That was one of the most in-depth science reports I've ever seen. Which, I mean, is technically telling the truth. Like, you know when somebody's not lying, but they're also not telling the truth? That's basically what it was. Because, I mean, it was super in-depth. You know, good for Jonathan for doing such great work, but it was work that nobody ever wanted to see from Jonathan. So, obviously, from that point, it was a little bit awkward. He had the nickname of the dog food kid for the rest of the year, and before anyone's like, oh, that's so mean. What else are you supposed to call the kid that showed you his poop and ate dog food for a week, all right? Like, what a weird science project. And ever since, our science teacher, whenever we had to do a project, would make it very clear that when he said something about eating dog food or whatever, he was kidding, because come to find out, Jonathan thought that was a real suggestion. Like, at the start of the project, when our teacher said, hey, you should eat dog food, Jonathan went, I should eat dog food. So, ever since, the teacher has made it very clear that you shouldn't ingest things that aren't made for human consumption for a week, no matter how flattering you think the science project's going to be. It's just not good for your health. And honestly, I really wonder what Jonathan's parents thought. Like, no offense, you're a pretty bad parent if you let your kid eat dog food for a week and don't think anything of it. Like, at no point during the week at all were his parents wondering, he hasn't eaten dinner at all with us. I wonder what he's eating. Like, they were like, meh. Typical science project, kid, you know, eating dog food, college Tuesday, typical Jonathan, you know? Typical good old Johnny just eating some dog food. And for those of you guys who are wondering what he got, he ended up getting an A, because to be honest, it was a really good PowerPoint, and the science was pretty sound, you know? We just didn't want to see his poop. So, like, he deserved the A, I'm not gonna lie. Everybody's like, ew, that's gross. Yeah, it was gross, but hey, you know, our teacher was the one who made the joke about it, so I guess he deserved his A. And honestly, if you eat dog food for a week, you better get an A. Like, could you imagine getting a C? You're telling me I ate dog food for an entire week for no reason? So, Jonathan, you earned your A, buddy. I hope you're doing good. He actually got into a crazy good college. Like I said, he was a really smart kid, just a little weird, you know? I actually have a couple more stories about Jonathan through my science classes through the years. He was a brony who just was always a weird kid, but yeah, if you guys want to see more of those, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. Comment like Jonathan, and I'll do more stories about him if you guys like him. But on that note, guys, I think that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to press the like button, comment down below, and turn on post notifications if Today's notification shout out goes to the one, the only Scrubby fan on Instagram. Big shout out to you for having notifications on. If you want a shout out, all you got to do is send me a screenshot of notifications being on my Instagram at Scrubby, and I shout somebody out every day. But yeah, on that note, guys, I'm going to go eat dog food for a week. If anybody needs me, that's where I'll be. Hope you guys have an absolutely incredible day. And remember, don't get anyone pregnant. And if you do, make sure they're hot and don't eat dog food. Stay hydrated and have yourselves a good one. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. I am out in 3, 2, 1. I forgot what I'm supposed to do. Oh, yeah. Bye.
I'd say understandable, have a great day, but that ain't understandable, kid. What the fuck are you thinking, dog? I'm really mad about your school and fucking dog food all day, every day.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having an absolutely fantastic day. I know I am. If you are, be sure to press the like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam, you will be visited by a ghost. Yeah, I don't make the rule, guys. I just follow them. And this ghost is not just any ghost. It is the ghost of Scooby-Doo himself. I don't know if you guys realize this. Scooby-Doo was a dog, and that show came on 50 years ago. So, he's been a ghost for a while now, and trust me, he's not a nice one. You don't want to risk it. Anyways, as you guys can see today, I'm going to be talking about my scariest experience or my ghost story. I don't really know what I titled this video, to be honest. I haven't decided yet. I don't know what the thumbnail is either, but regardless, we're going to be talking about the time where I got the absolute expletive, the naughty word for poo-poo, scared out of me by the scariest thing I've ever seen, all right? And, like, listen, I know a lot of you guys are going to think this story's fake because, trust me, if I heard it, I wouldn't believe it either. But since I experienced it firsthand, I can promise you it's 100% real, but it's terrifying. Without further ado, let's get into it. So when I was in high school, I was dating this girl
Get the fuck over
really
on your
believed
side,
in
you
spooky
whore.
things. You know, ghosts, skeletons, goblins. At one point, I think she thought Harry Potter was real, and I was like, no, sweetheart, that's just Daniel Radcliffe with glasses. And regardless, you know, she would always want to do scary things. For the most part, I was down because I don't believe in anything paranormal, all right? Like, if she was like, oh, let's go into the sewers because there's ghosts, I would be terrified of rats and alligators and homeless people, not ghosts, because I just never believed in any of that stuff. Now, obviously, you guys can call me silly or believe me, whatever you want to do. I don't really care. I just didn't believe in ghosts at all, and to be honest, I'm still really skeptical of what's going on. If I had any logical explanation for the story you're about to hear, trust me, I would have used it by now. But basically, one day she's like, hey, there's this mountain near Las Vegas called Mount Charleston, and she goes, hey, there's a cabin up there that apparently is super, super haunted, and I want to go to it. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, that's fine. And, you know, because I wanted to impress the girl, I was like, yeah, that's whatever. Now, obviously, I didn't think the cabin was haunted. By no means was I sitting there like, yeah, I bet you we're about to pull up to the cabin and the ghosts are going to be sitting there like, ayo, what's up? It's your boy, a Rice Scum, back with another video, you know, like, that's just not what I thought was going to happen. Obviously, I'm a little afraid to go in the middle of nowhere to a cabin in the middle of the woods with this girl, but hey, if it makes me look dope and it gets me some action, then I'm down
this
for
is
it.
how every
So
horror movie
we
started
planned
ever.
to go to this cabin, and I'm looking up, hey, somebody was murdered in this cabin,
guys,
so the police,
guys,
you know,
wanna know something cool?
basically
Never
shut
trust
it down. No one wanted
a
to
girl
buy it because
who
when
wants
you
to
buy a
take you
house,
to a
they have
cabin
to
in the
disclose that
woods,
somebody's
okay?
died in the house. And so obviously,
Okay?
when you're
That's all
shopping
you gotta
for a
do.
cabin in the
And
woods,
you'll
hearing
have
that
like a
somebody died in
95%
cabin in the
chance of
woods, 9
survival.
times out of 10 is not a good place or a good way to sell your cabin. Like what? The real estate agent's gonna pull up with, and this is where she was decapitated. Yeah, you can actually see right here. Like, no. That's not how you say sell a house. I mean, I'm not a real estate agent, but something tells me that doesn't work. So whatever. So we hop in the whip, you know, the mom car that I had, and we bool on out to this mountain, and we stumble upon this cabin, and we get there around dusk, and, you know, I'm usually not a giant scaredy cat, but,
Probably mom
something
car.
about the atmosphere, the lighting, I don't know what it was, but I'm looking at this sketchy cabin being backlit by the sun, and I'm like, oh my god, this place is haunted. Like, I don't know what it is, but, you know, a chill went down my spine, and she's like, okay, are you ready to go in? And I'm like, yeah. And 9 times out of 10, I would only be scared of realistic things. Like, I'd be like, someone could break into a cabin and make me go missing. You know, that's a possibility. But ghosts were never the issue. So whatever. We go inside, and I'm not even kidding. I felt like I was in Silent Hill or Resident Evil. Like, I felt like I was in Five Nights at Freddy's. 100%. Any moment, King Zaboomafoo himself was going to jump out of the closet and hit me with the yeehaw, and then I was going to have to ride my Old Town Road down to Lil Nas X's house. I don't know what that sentence was, but it came out of my mouth. So whatever, we set up our sleeping bags in the living room. Like, there really wasn't a living room, okay? All the windows were kicked out. But whatever, we set up our stuff in what I think used to be a living room. I didn't really be able to make out what everything was, but it looked like it used to be a living room at one point, right? And my girlfriend immediately starts being like, okay, let's go exploring. And I don't know why, I just had this feeling in the pit of my stomach. I was like, no, don't go exploring. Trust me, you're not gonna like this mine. Trust me, you're not gonna enjoy it. But whatever, I was being peer pressured by a cute girl, so obviously I send it, okay? I'm like, yeah, you know, I know in horror movies they say to trust your gut, and every time someone doesn't, they die, but chicks, let's go full send. You know, if there's a ghost here ready to end me, let's get it on Donkey Kong. That way I don't have to turn in my homework I haven't done yet. Like, if you think about it, it kind of is a win-win. I get killed by a ghost, I prove that ghosts exist, and I don't have to do my homework, and I don't have to worry about my girlfriend anymore. Like, it's really a dub. So anyways, we go out exploring, right? And we're like getting into the basement, and I don't know why, but as soon as we step into the basement, I just get this feeling of like, nah, dog, get out of here. And I trust my gut. I stand up all this. Yeah, no, I'm not going to further in the basement. And she's like, yeah, me neither. I got a bad feeling. So we go back up into the living room. We're chilling in our sleeping bags. And like, I'm telling you, I don't know if when we went into the basement, we woke up the demon or like pissed off the ghost or whatever. Like we didn't, I don't know, like we emoted him on after we knocked him in Fortnite or whatever. But as soon as we're like getting settled in again, there starts to be these noises coming from the basement. And when I say noises, it almost sounds like something's getting dragged across the floor. Now at this point in my head, I'm like, nope. The level of nope is untouchable. I actually feel like running away, screaming like a little girl. But of course, there's a girl in the picture, and I have to act tough. And she's like, what do you think it is? And I'm like, probably a raccoon. I don't know. I don't think raccoons are dragging dead bodies across the floor, but hey, maybe raccoons have gotten increasingly violent in the past couple years, all right? I'm by no means a raccoon expert. Who knows? So I'm trying to keep it cool. There's noises coming from the basement that, by the way, apparently somebody died in, you know, no big deal. Just no reason to be crapping your pants except for the fact that maybe somebody died in the basement of the house where you're hearing noises. So after about an hour of it getting dragged around, the noises slow down. So we go a little bit outside and we make a fire and we start cooking our food that we brought with us, right? And like ever since the noises stop, I'm feeling way more confident, okay? Now, when there's raccoons dragging other dead raccoons around in the basement, I'm not feeling too hot. I'm not too confident. But when there's no raccoons making noises, that's when it's Scrubby's time to shine, all right? So I'm acting confident. I'm like, oh, are you scared? Like, here, hold my hand. Look how tough I am. You know, and 30 seconds ago, I was about to ditch you to the raccoon and let you die in the basement. But hey, now, baby, it's me and you to the end of time. 1v1 no scopes only, you know what I'm saying?
Hi, Scubby.
Dump you.
Hit me up on God, man.
So
I'll fucking 1v1 no scopes you all day,
that's
you
will
lose.
When I see this. So I'm sitting in the back of the fire and I'm looking at the cabin, and in the window I start to see something moving, okay? And my first thought is instantly, oh, there's somebody else in the cabin. But then I realize that it's moving back and forth, and I can see like through it, okay? And there's nothing. It's just like I can see this thing, and I'm telling you, dog, I do not believe in ghosts. To this day, I still really don't. There's got to be a logical explanation, because I don't think ghosts is a logical explanation. But at this point, I'm freaking out, all right? Like, my cheeks are so clenched, I could craft a diamond in between these cheeks. Okay? Like, I am petrified. But whatever, I don't say anything to her, because she's going to be like, oh, let's go look it out. And I've seen enough horror movies to know, every time you go to check it out, you die. Like, that's just automatic, boom, you're done. So whatever, we go inside, and we're trying to go to bed. She passes out, and I'm like, girl, we are in a haunted house, okay? I still don't have an explanation, but then I start hearing noises, all right? It sounds like whispering coming from the walls. And listen, I don't believe it. Like, I'm telling you guys, I don't believe it.
I'm sorry, but
I just have no logical explanation. Like, you know, if it takes the words out of my mouth, it's gotta be pretty scary, because I don't shut up ever. But like,
no, you don't.
Basically, I'm hearing whispering coming from the walls, and it sounds like people's nails like being dragged along the edge of the house. And the entire night, I don't sleep at all, because I'm basically paranoid. The second I'm closing my eyes, I'm gonna wake up to like a zombie nun in my face standing over me, like, hello, Ryan. Like, I'm not trying to play games and get eaten by a zombie, okay? So I'm freaking out. I don't sleep a wink the entire night. I literally pull an all-nighter, and the entire night there's like these noises and whispering coming from the wall, and it sounds like something's getting dragged through the basement again. And like, before anyone in the comments, oh, someone was messing with you. We were outside, we were inside, we were in the basement. Like, we would have seen somebody or something messing with us, okay? If Scooby-Doo and the gang of Shaggy the Pothead can figure out when somebody's messing with them, I promise you that I would have been able to figure out. And I'm telling you, I have no logical explanation for where the sounds are coming from. I have no logical explanations about where any of this was coming from. All I know is I'm sitting here, and I'm 99% sure I'm in the middle of a haunted cabin in the woods, and at any second, I'm 100% gonna get eaten by a zombie, and I absolutely die. So the next morning, she rolls over, and she's like, wow, I haven't slept that good in ages. And I'm like, well, good for you. I'm glad to know that there was a real ghost. The one time there's actually something scary, you sleep. Every other time when there's nothing at all, you're fine. But no, fine. I'm so glad to know that you're an attack dog, all right? Anything out of place, ooh, it's not getting past you. If there was a ghost and you were the only one that we had to rely to guard us, we'd all be doomed. Thank you for that. You're the reason I had to come to this stupid haunted house, and you're the reason that I'm leaving terrified. And like I said, to this day, I have no explanation for what happened. I have no idea what happened, if you want me to be honest with you. I'm terrified. I never went back to that cabin. Anytime somebody brings it up, I'm like, nope, and I tell them the story. I'm 100% certain that place was legit haunted. I don't have a logical explanation. If anyone has a logical explanation for something getting dragged to the basement, whispering in the walls, and tapping on the edge of the house all night, please let me know, because I would love a logical explanation so that way I don't feel like I'm a crazy person trying to convince people that ghosts exist every day. But on that note, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to press the like button. Let me know in the comment section down below if you don't already. Today's notification shout out goes to the one, the only. I have to scroll down because I promised I was going to give it to somebody in particular, and I don't want to mess up and ruin their day, because that would suck. And it goes to Bree Daisy. Shout out to you for having notifications on.
Hey, yo, fuck off, whore! Fuck off! You're my setup, bitch!
And I shout somebody out every day. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot.
I wanna go watch out your own property, you whore, because I'm spamming you. You're gonna fucking get clapped. Fuck off my property, whore. Hippity hoppity, this is my property. Go
What's
fucking
going on,
shoot
guys?
yourself
It's your
in
boy
the head,
here,
you
back
whore.
again with another video. Hope you guys are all having an absolutely fantastic
God,
day.
yeah,
I know I am. If you are, I'm gonna need you guys to press the like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam, a giant Cheez-It will kick in your door and eat you alive. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, Ryan. Where did the giant Cheez-It come from? And the answer is your worst nightmares. Anyways, as you guys can tell, you're probably really confused by the title. Something along the lines of my girlfriend was a dude, and yeah, it's gonna be a confusing story. I want you guys all to buckle in and get ready for a wild ride. And without further ado, let's get into it. So this is actually a story about one of my best friends, who I'm gonna name Grant for the purpose of this story. Okay,
hey.
It's not the Grant that I work with, but I honestly can't think of any better name at the moment. So for the purpose of the story, it's Grant. And you know, this Grant guy was a very lonely fellow. All right, like he did not have the clout to just go out and get girls whenever he wanted. To best describe Grant, I would say Rowley from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Okay, he was a little too close for his mom for it to be normal. He spent a little bit too much time playing Minecraft, but overall he was a good guy, you know. That's why we were friends with him. He was nice and he had the best intentions at heart. He just didn't really attract women. In fact, when women saw him and hung out with him, they were like, "Oh, he's so cute. He's like my little brother," which is never what you want to hear when you're hitting on women. All right, like I'm telling everybody now, if you've ever hit on a girl and heard, "Oh, you're adorable," you know the pain that this guy felt every single day of his life. And I had been friends with Grant for a while. He had never had any luck with me. Okay, like even most nerdy kids get a girlfriend, but Grant was never that lucky. Grant was the definition of a virgin, all right? Like he could not get a girl if one hit him upside the head like a meteorite. So obviously we all hung out with him. We all thought Grant was a cool guy, but we were all pretty surprised when he walked into class one day with a smile on his face and said, "I have a girlfriend." And come to find out, he was playing World of Warcraft and met this super cute girl, and they hit it off and they exchanged phone numbers. They had been texting nonstop. And obviously, me and the boys are hyped for Grant, okay? Because everybody wants their boys to do well. Nobody's like, I want my friend to stay single and alone forever. Like, if that's what you want for your friend, you're probably not a very good friend. So all of us are hyped, and we're asking her name, and he's telling us her name. He's telling us what state she lives in. He might go visit her over spring break. Overall, we're like, dang, you know what, Grant? Good for you. You finally got a girlfriend. I'm so proud of you. Great job, man. 10 out of 10. You're an absolute stud. But behind the scenes, when Grant wasn't around, we were all like, bro, there's no way this girl is real, okay? Because the way he was describing her, I know that sounds so okay? I promise I'm not like that with all my friends. Most of the time when my friends tell me they have a girlfriend, I'm like, yeah, okay, good for you, dog. But you guys you had to know Grant, all right? That sounds terrible that I didn't think my friend's girlfriend was real right off the bat, but I just knew it was too good to be true because apparently, she only lived a state away and she was perfect and yada, yada, yada. And I don't know, something just didn't feel right about it, especially meeting your girlfriend in World of Warcraft, all right? Like, I'm sorry. If you ever met a girl in World of Warcraft and you thought she was hot, chances are you've been bamboozled, deceived, deceptive. And that's not a knock on people who play World of Warcraft, to be honest. I've never seen a girl who plays World of Warcraft. I'm just assuming here. I'm definitely stereotyping girls that play World of Warcraft. And if that gets me a dislike, then so be it, That's just how it is sometimes. But anyways, as time goes on, we're still trying to be supportive of our friend Grant because he's happy and he has a girlfriend and he's convinced that she's real, even though all of us have a sneaking suspicion he's not. So whatever, one weekend we're at the bowling alley and we're hanging out. We're just having a good time and Grant's there. Like I said, he was a little bit of a nerdy guy, but he was so nice and hanging out with like, dog, he's part of the squad and you always gotta rock with the squad no matter how World of Warcraft girlfriends they have. So whatever, we're sitting there and somebody asks us to see a picture of Grant's girlfriend and he's like, yeah, of course. And he pulls up, I'm not kidding you, Yanette Garcia. For those of you who don't know who Yanette Garcia is, she was this girl that dated FaZe Sensor, who was like a Call of Duty player. And she's this supermodel, like, news anchor from Mexico, okay? So I see this, and most of my other friends aren't super into internet culture, and, like, aren't the type of people that would know that's a FaZe clan member's girlfriend. But me being me and an absolute nerd, I instantly recognize, bruh, this man is really getting catfished by somebody pretending to be Yanette Garcia, okay? And just a couple things here. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you are Brad Pitt when you were 13. I don't care if you're Brad Pitt when you were 16. There is no way a Mexican supermodel is going to meet a, 15-year-old kid on World of Warcraft and be like, dog, we are soulmates. We're gonna fall in love. Like, I don't understand how the really smart guy ever fell for this in the first place. Not because I think he's, repulsive to women, but I'm just like, dog, there's no way anyone could get a supermodel girlfriend on World of Warcraft. You're telling me that this supermodel chick was just like, might as well date this dude who lives a state away, YOLO, full send. So I don't bring this up at first. I don't want to embarrass Grant.
Goodbye, say goodbye to the knife that you sharpen with your life. Say goodbye.